Okay, so in this video, we're finishing up that homework assignment from last week and looking at the number line worksheets, which are page 162 and 163. So we start off with, it says locate each of the following points on the given number line and then show or explain how you located the point. Okay, so number one, name the fraction marked by the x on the number line. So explain your answer. So we have our unit from 0 to 1, so we should notice that this is split evenly into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. And our x is on the 1, 2, 3, the third section. So x is marking where 3/8 is going to be. Okay. So it's split into 8 equal parts, and then we're on the third. We have the third one, or we've traveled the third one. Okay, for number two, name the fraction marked by the x. So hold on. There's a little better. Okay, so in this one, you should notice this hasn't been perfectly split up yet. So the first thing you should do is make sure that we have evenly spaced, equal distant tick marks on our number line. So we need to add one up here by the 0. And then this big distance also needs cut in half. So now we have equal parts again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts again. And the x is on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th one. So we are at 5 out of 8. So that x should be 5/8. Okay. Now the next one, number 3. Place an x at where 3/4 is on the number line and explain your answer. Okay, well, let's see. This is 3/2. So I have traveled 3 equal-sized groups from 0. So if I count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So I have 6 sections to represent 3 groupings. So that would mean every 2 groupings is going to be equivalent to a half. So if we start with 0/2, if we go out 2, this should be 1/2. 2 more would be 2/2, which is 1. And then 2 more would get us to 3/2. So we're equally spaced. So again, if this is equivalent to 1, then we can just focus on this distance from 0 to 1. And we notice this is split into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. So if that's split into 4 parts, then 3/4 would be the third of those 4 parts. So 1, 2, 3, so 3/4 should be right here, right in between 1/2 and 1. Okay. Number 4, name the fraction marked by x on the number line. So again, this is like kind of like what we were doing in number 2. These have not yet been equally divided, so we need to make sure our number line is cut into equal sized pieces. So in this one, once we add those 2 markings, now our number line has been split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, and we are at the 1, 2, 3, 4th one. So this would be equivalent to 4/6. If you want to reduce that, that would be the same thing as 2/3. Okay. Let's see, number 5. Place an x on the 2/3 mark. So right now our whole is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. So one way to do this, if we need 3 full parts in the 3 full groupings in the whole, we could split this into 3 equal parts. So if we have 9 sections and we need 3 groups, that would be 3 per section. So we can split it like this. So every third. So then 2/3 would be the second one of those 3 groupings. So 1, 2. So 2/3 should be right here. The other way you can think of this one is 2/3 is equivalent to, since this is split into ninths, if you multiply by 3, that would be 6/9. So let's check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's the 6th one out of the 9 individual spots. So you can think of it that way also. All right. And then number 6, name the fraction marked by the X on the number line. All right, so again, we need equally divided number lines. So we add those 2 tick marks to make everything equal distance. So in this one, notice this is at 2. So if this is 0, this is 2. The halfway point should be where 1 is going to be. So right now we're split into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sections. So the halfway point would be the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 should be smack dab in the middle. And then now if we know what the unit is, from 0 to 1, we're split into 1, 2, 3, 4 parts again. And X is on the 2nd one. So this would be 2/4. Or you could say this is 1/2 and this would be 1/2 to the whole. So that also reduces down to be 1/2. Okay, so usually my students think this side is the easy side, and then we have the other page, the next page. So let's take a look at this one. All right, so first of all, A, so down here, says mark where 4/5 is on the number line. Okay, so a few ways that you can do this. So 4/5, let's see. In order to find 4/5 and split something into 5 equal parts, you would have to know what the whole is. So the key to all of these is to figure out where 1 is going to be. So right now we know where 2/3 is. So somewhere right here in the middle should be where 1/3 is. So if we count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from 0 to 2/3, there's 10 little tick marks. So the halfway point should be where 1/3 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should be 1/3. So then we go 5 more to get to 2/3. So if we go 5 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be 3/3, which is where 1 is going to be. Okay, so now remember we're trying to find 4/5. So now from 0 to 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 sections. So this has been divided into 15ths. So 4/5 is equivalent to how many 15ths? So that would be 12 15ths. Or, if you like what we were doing before, if I want to split this into 5 equal parts, if we have 15 of them, that means there's 3 per grouping. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there would be my 5 equal sections. So then 4/5 would be the 4th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/5 should be right there. And again, if you did want to convert this into 15ths, then it should be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th one. So 12 out of 15. So it's right there. All right, for B, we're wanting to figure out where 0 is. So we know where 3/5 is. We know where 1 is. 1 would be equivalent to 5/5. So halfway should be where 4/5 is going to be. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tick marks. So halfway would be 3. So right there would be where 4/5 is. So then if we go in reverse at that same distance, so if we go back 3, right here should be where 2/5 is. And then go another 3. That should be where 1/5 is. And then if we go another 3, that is where 0 is going to be. So your answer for B should be right here on the 5th tick mark that is provided. Okay. All right, for C. C wants us to find where 1 3/4 is. So let me write that up here off to the side. Okay, so 1 3/4. Okay, so we need to figure out where 1 is going to be. So let's see, we know where 4/5 is. So we know there's 4 equal sections between these two numbers. So right now that's divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parts. So every 2 parts should be a fifth. So this would be 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. So 2 more would be 4/5. So 2 more would be where 1 is. Okay, so there's 1. Now we need 1 3/4. So we know how big 1 is. We need to figure out how big fourths are going to be. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 sections this time that we would have to split into 4 equal parts. So 10 sections for 4 parts. So let me write that over here. Would be, that's going to be 2.5. So these are not going to be perfectly on a tick mark, but 2.5 would be the first part. So then a half with 2 more would be right there. And then 2.5 would be right there, and then 2.5. So there's my fourths. So we would have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So there's 1, and then we need 3/4 more. So if we go out 2.5, that would be 1 1/4. 2.5 more, that would be 1.5. And then 2.5 more would be where 1 3/4 are. So 1 3/4 is kind of in between the last third and fourth tick mark. We're trying to find that one. All right, now D wants us to find 7/15. Okay, so again, same strategy. Figure out where 1 is first. So from 0 to 2/3, that means 1/3 should be hanging out here somewhere in the middle. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's 10 sections for 2 parts. So every 5th one. So again, let me use my marker. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's where 1/3 should be. So then if we go 5 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should be where 1 is. All right, so then conveniently, now from 0 to 1, this has already been split into 15 parts. So we have 5, 10, 15. So 7/15 should be at the 7th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7/15 should be right there. So 2 past where the 1/3 would be. Okay, all right. So now the next few, we now have to find the fraction represented by the x. Okay, so for these, probably what I would do is make an equivalent fraction. So right now we're in terms of fifths. So let's just count how many tick marks it takes to get to a fifth. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So 14 tick marks to get to 2/5. 14. Yes. Okay, so 14 tick marks to get to 2/5. Okay, so it would be nice, let me write this up to the side, 14 tick marks to 2/5. So since the numerator always tells us how many pieces we have, it would be really nice if instead of this being a 2, if it actually represented the 14 tick marks that we have. So right here, if we were able to convert this into a fraction where we had 14 in the numerator, we would be changing this into what fraction? So instead of 2/5, if we multiply by 7, this little tick mark would represent 14 35ths. Okay, so think about that. So 1 35th, 2 35ths, 3 35ths, 4 35ths. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 35ths. So for x, we can just figure out which tick mark that was, and I just counted past it. So let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So x is where 9/35 is going to land. So 9/35. All right, for f, same thing. Where is this x hanging out? So let's see. We know where 1/4 is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for this one, we can try a couple of things, but let's just do the strategy we just did up here. So 1/4, it would be really nice if instead this fell on the 5th tick mark. So if we're able to make a fraction where the numerator represented the number of tick marks. So 1/4 is equivalent to what in terms of 5? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5/20. So if this is 5/20, if each one is a 20th, so 1/20, 2/20, 3/20, 4/20, 5/20, if we keep going, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14/20 is where we are at. Okay. The other thing with this one you could do is, again, if you knew that it took 5 tick marks to get to a 4th, you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. That would be 2/4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more would be 3/4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more would be 1. Then you would know you have 20 full tick marks in the hole, and then the x is on the 14th one. So I did a little bit of a shortcut right there for f. Okay. Now, then for g, we're still trying to find x. So you will notice in g, h, I, and j, now we have 2 fractions with totally different denominators. So that's fun. All right, so since we have different denominators, it would be extremely helpful if we had some common denominators instead. So between 4ths and 5ths, what could we convert these into to make it easier to do? So that would be 20ths. So 1/4 would be equivalent to 5/20. And then 2/5, if you multiply by 4, that would be 8/20. Okay, so let me just put a point where we're really looking at, since I'm writing them off to the side. All right, so if this is 5/20, this is 8/20. We have gone up in the numerator by 3. So how many tick marks does it take to make those 3 extra groups in the numerator? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 tick marks going up a grouping of 3. So every 2 tick marks would be another 20th. So right here would be 6/20. 2 more would be 7/20. So then 2 more would be 8/20. So if we keep with that pattern, 2 more would be 9/20. So then 2 more would be up to 10/20, which would be a half. Okay, so for G, X is on 1/2 or 10/20. Let's see, same thing for H. H, now we want to find out where 1/3 is. Okay, so let's see, what do we know? So we have halves and thirds. So again, it would be nice if they were the same sized pieces. So between halves and thirds, if we convert those into sixths, we would have, let's see, 3/6 would be here. And then 2/3 would be equivalent to 4/6. So all of these tick marks, it's only going up in the numerator by 1. So you'd be going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tick marks. So if we go 6 tick marks in the other direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this would be, right here, would be the fraction 2/6, which coincidentally reduces down to be 1/3. So 1/3 will be right there where that point is. Okay, so hopefully you see the game that we're playing. All right, so then trying to figure out where x is. So again, we have fifths and eighths. So we want to make those a common denominator. So let's convert those to the same thing. So 40ths. So again, let me put points so I know where we are. Let's see, so 3/5. So 5 times 8 is 40, so 3 times 8, this would be 24. And then 9/8, we multiply by 5. Let's see, 9 times 5 would be 45. So we started with 24 40ths here and 45 40ths there. So we are going up how far? So 24 up to 45 would be 21 sections in the numerator. So we're going up 21 parts. And we're doing that over how many tick marks? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tick marks. So if we're increasing the numerator by a total of 21 and we're doing that equally over 7 tick marks, that means each tick mark would be 3. So this would be like, so 27, 30, 33, 36, 39, 42, 45. So the same thing should be true if we go in reverse. So if this is 24, so back 3 would be 21. Back 3 is what, 18? And then back 3 would be 15. So this x should be on 15 40ths. Okay, so just counting backwards. All right, and then finally, mark the location of where 1/2 is. So again, we have eighths and tenths. So something, a common denominator, let's say that could be 40ths. So 3/8 would be equivalent to how many 40ths? So we multiply by 5, so 15 40ths. And then 4/10, we multiply by 4 would be 16 40ths. So if we're looking for the fraction 1/2, that would be equivalent to 20 40ths. Okay, so conveniently this is only going up 1 in the numerator this time. So how many tick marks are we increasing by? So 1, 2, 3. So every 3 is going to go up by 1. So 1, 2, 3, so that would be 17 40ths. 1, 2, 3 is 18 40ths. 1, 2, 3, so here's 19 40ths. So then 1, 2, 3, this is where 20 40ths would be, which is 1/2. Okay, so if you have any questions about any of these pages, again, you didn't have to turn them in for homework, but you will see them on your upcoming test, which is next week, I believe. So you may be doing problems like this. So if you have questions, let me know.